Signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Tabernacle of the Bridegroom. Reporting 7-7 through 7-9. This is Mazzaroth Decoded. Welcome back, family. Okay. In our last report, we were showing how Macholz was aligned here on the entrance of the hoopah, and on 7-9 now we have Macholtz here exiting the hoopah as it goes through its retrograde. So let's go ahead and take a step back, and we can see how on the second it entered, and then on the 9th now it is exiting the main body of Ophiuchus, which we consider the hoopah in the heavens. And the hoopah extends down into the legs of Ophiuchus above the ecliptic. And you can see that with the line on the right leg going down into the Golden Gate. And it crosses just over the ecliptic. And the other line, as we've said before, goes, let's go ahead and scroll in, from Zeta Ophiuchi down to Acrab. Some say that it's, let's see here, some say that it is actually going to this nebula that we were talking about with Venus. This IC 4604. There's different debates about that. I've always looked at it as the Acrab star, which is the entrance to the claws of Scorpio. And if you read, there's a lot of ancient information about the claws of Scorpio, and them being depicted as like harvest tools. These are like scythes, or um, you could even say scissors. You could say anything that cuts. Um, that is a sign of like freedom, redemption, and I've always read in my studies about how the sun, moon, and stars come through this section of Libra. And as they exit Libra and enter into Scorpio, that as soon as they get in the claws, then as soon as they pass that, then they're into the area of Ophiuchus. And if you look at Ophiuchus, then you can see how that is depicted at this other star. And remember, these borders of the modern uh, stellar outlines of these constellations are different than they were in the ancient times. Some of them are wildly different, but for now, we can see how this is being shown here at this other claw. And so some say it goes down from Zeta Ophiuchi to that star, and that is the outer leg of Ophiuchus. And there's just debates there. I've always read that it goes down to Acrab from Zeta Ophiuchi, and that is the area of the Hupa extension or the left leg of Ophiuchus. And so, depending on how you look at these things, there are different interpretations. And we can see how, depending on where the location is, there could be a radically different um, outcome. So if we look at Scorpius, we can see how it goes all the way up here almost to Serpens. And that connection is very, very important, as that area seems to be connected to this underworld and the serpent. And so we have sort of a tag there that we can see in the heavens with the extension of this constellation going above the ecliptic and directly towards Serpens. And so that's why they make this distinction with the border of Ophiuchus and this left claw of Scorpio. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be reporting on 3 days of heavenly signs. We're going to begin on the 7th and we're going to go through the 9th. The reason that I started with Macholtz is we finished with that in our last report, and I wanted to point out again that the moon on the 9th is inside of the arc or the bow of Sagittarius. This is like inside of the boat, and it's also inside of the tabernacle on the 9th. And that is very important when we look at the rest of the signs as we go through. So we're going to go now and we're going to begin our search on these different asteroids, and we're going to get to the codes, and we're going to look at all the language over 3 days of heavenly signs. So let's look at Hygeia. And we have Hygeia aligning with the horn of Taurus. And this is the Ephraim horn. And we are looking at Hygeia making its alignment at the very end of the day, right before the 8th. And that means it happened last night. And we're looking at the asteroid aligning with this horn of Taurus. This is to me another warning sign, as these asteroids and planetary bodies, the sun, the moon, when they cross this horn of Taurus, to me, it's like a trumpet call. And if you look in our last report, we were looking at the foot of the bride. And if you look at the foot of the bride, the ecliptic line goes directly through the foot of the bride. And so to me, this is a trumpet call with Hygeia making its alignment with the horn of Taurus. And so let's go ahead and go to the codes. And we can see here July the 7th, 2025. Asteroid Hygeia makes its alignment with the Ephraim horn in Taurus, and asteroid Hygeia equals the apocalypse. The planet Pluto, the reptilian queen bee, Prince of Wales. Behold the pale horse. Okay, family, give me one sec. Okay, we have seen this in entirely too many of the last code breaks. There's just no way that this keeps showing up in all of these code breaks unless it's trying to make a point. And then the rest of these codes sort of line up with this. And so it's really important we pay attention to this asteroid. It's aligning on 7-7. That's another sign all to itself. We have a fire dragon year, the Hellfire Club, the New Babylon, Baroque lightning, mark of feast, Catholic false prophets coming to America, rising of Sirius. Now, this is just too much because the rising of Sirius is July 2nd through the 7th, and Hygeia making its alignment on the 7th with the horn of Taurus, which can be seen as a warning judgment sign. We should be paying attention to this Sirius sign. And we're going to get into that a little bit in this study. We're going to be going through some information about this Sirius sign in this report, but I wanted to point that out that you just can't. I mean, this is 7-7. Serious. Been in all of the movies, the predictive programming. There is too many things associated with all of this, and you can't make it up. And it's aligned perfect with this asteroid. So it's pointing us to this sign, and we need to be paying attention. So you have pearly gates, the blood of a goat, quantum dot, serpent's poison, red horse rider, and China attacks the US. Um, that to me means we should be paying attention because of it aligning with the horn. Be right back. Okay, so we have Hygeia aligning in Taurus, and then there's another very special sign that's happening in the constellation of Taurus. We have the planet Venus. And what we're looking at with Venus is a very special alignment here. Actually, forgive me, fam. My allergies are acting up, so I might have to click out here and there. So we're looking at Venus making its alignment with the golden gate of the ecliptic. And this is a very important area of the heavens. If you've been with me for a while, I've done multiple reports on this. This is the area that goes between the Pleiades and the Hyades. Uh, it's an absolutely important area of the heavens when it comes to prophecy and star lore and ancient star stories of uh, the gods. And I mean, this is all history right here being shown to us. And we have Uranus, that is what we would consider heaven, sitting right there with Venus at the Golden Gate. This is like the morning star crossing the uh, ecliptic Golden Gate, which is like an entrance into the heavens. And if you look, it's as if Venus is holding the Pleiades in its right hand, and it has the Hyades in its left hand, and it's marching through. It's going to go directly through the horns of Taurus. Again, another very important sign that's been depicted throughout history with all kinds of um, ancient depictions, whether that's hieroglyphs or jewelry or art. There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of images of Venus between the horns of Taurus. So we're looking at a very important transition beginning here with Venus crossing the Golden Gate of the ecliptic on July the 9th at 1700 hours Pacific Standard Time. That's 5 p.m. PST here on the West Coast. And you can make your adjustments wherever you are in the world. This is one of the most important signs that we've been waiting for, because this going across this golden gate of the ecliptic is highly prophetic. And so when we're looking at prophecy with the coming of the bridegroom, we are uh, we need to be looking at Venus and Jupiter and the sun, and those three signs are associated with the bridegroom. We have Jupiter as the king, we have Venus as the bright morning star or the evening star. When it's an evening star, its representation is the bride. When it's a morning star, its representation is the bridegroom, which is our master. And he is shown to us in different star language at different times. And so right now we're seeing that Venus is about to cross the golden gate of the ecliptic, and it's very important on this day because of the other signs that are associated with this sign. It's almost too much stacked up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a day step back. We're going to go to eunomia. And each of these signs are really important because of the representation again of what we're seeing in the heavens. You can't, no, none of us could make any of these things up. All we're doing is we're witnessing the signs in the heavens. So, in our last report, we were looking at Mercury making its transition along the ecliptic, and it went directly by Prasepe, which is the beehive cluster, the manger. This is where the innumerable seed is kept. This is like the inner sanctum, the inner sanctuary. And this is like where the lambs, it can be looked at as where the lambs are kept. And we have eunomia aligning here on 7/8, which is today. This asteroid is aligning with Cancer. And I posted in the last study how Cancer is involved in these signs with Mercury going through Persepe. Now we have Eunomia aligning with Cancer. So let's take a look at the codes because these bring out the details of what we're looking at. So we have asteroid Eunomia aligning with the beetle. And the reason I chose the beetle is if you look at the Dendera star map from ancient Egypt and you go back from that time and before, um, it wasn't necessarily shown as a crab. The ancient Egypts have this as the dung beetle that pushes the sun along the Mazzaroth. And if you look at it from that perspective, it changes a lot of the view of the Cancer constellation because the dung beetle was a representation of resurrection. And you can go do a study of that, and you'll be blown away at how Cancer is a sign of resurrection. And we have asteroid Eunomia equaling timed rapture, the bride of Christ. It's time to come home, the great awakening, daughter of Zion, equinox, the Bible in the stars, and stellar gateway family. You are missing something big time if you think these codes aren't perfectly aligned with what we're seeing in the heavens because the stellar gateway is either the golden gate of the ecliptic or the silver and golden gates. And so we're looking at an alignment on the 9th with Venus, and we are currently looking at the moon crossing the golden gate. And we are also looking at multiple, like Iris is still in the silver gate. And so we're looking at stellar gateways. We have chosen messenger, true messenger. I'm God's warrior, the Virgin Mary, Son of Man, revealed, days of judgment, and he is Saturn. Now, I've always looked at his brother Enlil as Saturn, but in this code, we have Enki is Saturn showing up. We have NATO Death Squad. The Antichrist mark crashed the internet and nuked Damascus. And what do you think we are looking for from a perspective of prophecies? Exactly what the codes just said. And we're looking at this being highly prophetic. We have Mercury in Cancer, and Mercury again is a messenger. This is a messaging angel speaking to us through the stars, telling us to watch. And we have Eunomia making its alignment, pointing us to the Cancer constellation, again, which represents resurrection. Now, what we're going to be looking at is another amazing sign. And these are all lining up on the ninth with this crossing of the golden gate of the ecliptic by Venus. And you can't make these things up. These are all happening in the heavens, and all we're doing is we're witnessing what's happening. This is Letitia aligning with the club of Orion. Now, some ancient depictions have him holding a sword and a shield, and in this depiction, he's holding a club and a lioness that he has killed. And so this can be looked at as a weapon, either a sword or a club. This can be looked at also uh, in the same way that the horn is. This is a judgment sign. This can also be looked at as a warning, and we should be looking at this as a warning sign for all of those who are not prepared. It can also be looked at as a warning sign for the United States because of the codes that we just received with coming to America. We have Letitia aligning with the Club of Orion. Let's go ahead and look. This happens so this is 3 days that Letitia is in the Club of Orion, and the Club of Orion is directly in the center of the Silver Gate, and it's also directly below the bride and the bridegroom. And it's pointing us to the signs within the bride and the bridegroom, and also the gate. So let's look here above Letitia. We see Jupiter making its alignment. Before we go, we're going to I'm going to have to go quickly and pull this up. I did not open up this last code. I've got to pull this code out. Hopefully I updated everything. Forgive me, fam. I have one more. I have to go through all of my codes to find. I thought I had everything opened, but I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to go ahead and pause and I'll be right. Okay. So we have Letitia, uh, and we are going to be looking at the codes. This is July the 9th. Asteroid Letitia aligning with the Club of Orion. Asteroid Letitia equals Holy Double Eight. September the 9th. Follow the rabbit. The Messiah is coming. Comet Nishimura. Pyramid Portal. The message to Laodicea. Bible code is true. Aquarian Dragon. Escape Planet Earth. Obama Islamic Sodomite. Satan's Prodigy. Satanic Cult Leader. Serpent Disease. Satanic Vessels. Israel, Jerusalem. The Trump of God and Anunnaki connected. So we know this is a judgment sign. We've just gotten the codes that it's connected to America. We have seen the codes saying China is attacking America. Um, we're looking at a modern kind of warfare. A lot of people are waiting for bombs to be dropping everywhere. And I'm sorry to tell you that our modern wars are essentially weather wars. And they have the ability to manipulate weather at a level that is mind blowing. And multiple countries have this kind of technology, including China. And I believe what we're seeing all over the globe is a reckless abandon of these powers that be. They are using weapons of war that are associated with weather and with vibration and with tools that Tesla developed that they've been hiding and that they haven't really spoken out about what they're using these technologies for, but it's definitely weather warfare. They've been able to do this since the 60s, and they have developed it to a level that is quite scary, and most are totally unaware that they have this type of technology. If you are, then it's important for us to spread the news that we're not expecting your typical type of warfare until it gets to the very, very end point, and that's when they start pushing the buttons. But until then, we're going to see weather wars, tsunamis, earthquakes, and everything else that they can use to damage somebody else's country while they stand back and go, oh my gosh, we feel so sorry for you. We'll send you a bunch of aid. Um, they act like the good guys, but they're the ones who are doing the damage. And we can see that Letitia being in the Club of Orion for 3 days is a great warning of judgment. And so all we have to do is look right here, and we can just back up to that night, and we can see how the planet Jupiter is making its alignment here. We'll just call it right there. And we can see how Jupiter on the ninth is aligned with the bride on the same day that Venus is crossing the Golden Gate of the ecliptic, and the same day that Letitia is aligning with the Club of Orion. And we also saw that Machaut is aligning with the Hoopa on the same day, and Jupiter is aligning with the bride all on the same day. And this is stacked. And I haven't even had the time yet to get into the 50 plus other asteroids that I need to search through in order to find their dates of alignments. I have not had the time to get to that. I'm just beginning because of the amount of work that I've had. So I am doing the best with my reporting, but there's a lot more happening in the heavens that I'm not able to get to yet, but we'll bring that forth. So again, if we just look here, we're looking at the next day is when the sun aligns with Pollux. And we're going to be doing more extensive reporting on the 10th and the 11th. This report is going through the 9th, but I wanted to point that out. Now we're going to go to Hebe, and if you remember, we were talking about Hebe aligning with Saturn. And now what we're doing is we're looking at Hebe entering into Cetus. And we can see that here. If you look at the line again with 10 Ceti, and we go to Hebe, we can see right here on the 10th, it's already past the line. If we go back to the 9th, it's perfectly aligned. And so we have this alignment with Hebe entering into the whale. And this can be a Jonah type of sign because Cetus is considered the sea monster. But if you go down to the descriptions, let's go ahead and open this up quickly. Cetus is a constellation sometimes called the whale in English. The Cetus was a sea monster in Greek mythology, which both Perseus and Heracles needed to slay. Cetus is in the region of the sky that contains other water-related constellations, Aquarius, Pisces, Uranus. And so this is the whale sign. And we have Saturn and Neptune. And Neptune has always been a sign of Enki. And now we have the codes saying Saturn is Enki, and Enki was the lord of the underworld, the sea. And anything in the heavens that's below the ecliptic is considered the underworld. And again, they're talking about the constellations that are associated with water You have Eridanus, the river coming from Orion. It starts at the foot of Orion, and then we see Cetus and Pisces and Aquarius and the southern fish. Even the backside of Capricorn is the fish. These are all water signs connected with all of these signs. And we have Hebe. It's not making an alignment with the constellation. It's actually crossing the border on the 9th with Cetus the whale. And this is a very important sign because, again, we were in our last report, we were showing that transition of Hebe across Aquarius and then basically marking Saturn. And this is also a marking of Neptune that's right there. Even though there's not the close alignment, it's right there in our same area of Pisces. This is a great warning to the eastern fish headed back into the water stream that goes below the ecliptic. This is a sign of those that are in the world and they are headed into the water stream, which is again a sign of destruction. This is the tribulation. This is a sign of the coming tribulation that they will enter because they didn't choose to go the other direction, which is the northern fish, straight into the heavens. They have chosen to go back into the world, or they're in the world and they don't know there's another option, or they've refused that option, which gives them the uh, the judgment of this coming tribulation. And in most cases, it's a choice. They're not oblivious. They've chosen this world, and the only thing they have to do is give up the world and choose Christ, and then they enter into the heavenly tabernacle, the great wedding, and it's there is no judgment that we judge ourselves by our choices. And that's what this is basically showing is that Hebe is marking Saturn in the Pisces constellation, which is the mankind, two fish that are bound by Cetus in this world or this physical reality. And Hebe is then entering into the whale on the 9th, the same day that all these other signs are being shown to us. And the most important sign that we could be looking at is this moon sign. Before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and look at this Hebe code. And we've already shown this that it's marking Saturn between June 11th and October the 18th. And today, I mean, on the 9th, it makes its entrance into the Thetis constellation. And then it comes back and marks Saturn again on October the 18th. So we have asteroid Hebe equals perfected bride, kingdom of God, grand rising. See gates be open. Jesus codes, gatekeepers, master code, the end is here. Ophiuchus, Archangel Michael, recompense, apocalypsis, the fallen angels under the sea, the Trojan War, the war in heaven, and 119. 119 is 911 backwards. This is encoded language, and we need to wake up if we're sleeping. This is the moon in the center of the Golden Gate, entering into the ark of protection. This is 7-9, and we can watch the bride transition right through the heavenly tabernacle. And if we look at 710, we're looking at a 100% phase. This is the moon full. This is the full wolf moon. This is the moon that's shown to us in the iPet goat. We can see how on 7-7 it passes Antares, and it's in the Hoopa, and then it crosses the Golden Gate and enters into the Ark on 7-9. Early in the morning, we can see how, if we just go back, we're looking at right here, we can see the moon entering into the Ark on 7-9, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're looking at the moon at 98% phase. And if we go to, let's go ahead and get the exact time. We're going to look at, okay, fam. We have it here, 7-9-2025 at 11:13 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The moon enters 99% phase inside of the arc. And this is 99 is rapture. Encoded language, 99 equals rapture. And we have the moon, the bride, in the ark on the same day that all these other signs are aligning. And so we're going to finish our code break here with the moon inside of the ark, 7-9, just after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Much love.